Hey guys! So I gotta say first, I have absolutely no idea what the thumbnail for this video is gonna look like because I just sat here and tried to take several pictures and the coloring and everything is way off. I don't know what is going on. I know that recently my camera tried to fall because my tripod is giving out. I really need to replace it. And as it went to fall, I grabbed it and I know I hit some buttons and stuff on it. I'm gonna have to sit down with it. Things I don't normally mess with because I'm not a photographer, but it is a very fancy camera and I don't know what I hit. But either way, it's messing up the color and as well as just the general quality of the picture. So if it's kind of a weird piece together thumbnail, well, that's why. Anyhow, moving on. So I have to tell you guys, and I've been wanting to document this as I'm doing it, but it's been a very long and drawn out process. But I'm going to show you guys now, and then I will show you guys at least when it's a finished product, because it's going to be so cool. But a year ago, I had started looking into how to get a star quilt made for our two extra girls. And at that point, we weren't sure where adoption fell with Rain because she was kind of like on and off with it and kind of leaning towards she didn't want to be adopted, while we had previously been agreeing to it. And it really threw some things off. She did come around last summer, say that nope, she did want to. She actually asked us to adopt her. And obviously in December that happened. Well, either way, one thing that's actually very traditional, and I don't know how this falls in other states with other tribes, but it is really common here in South Dakota to see star quilts. Many times you'll see them in certain types of shops, and they're locally made, but they're really hit or miss. And you can get them made, but anywhere I would have gone in the past, I couldn't seem to find now. And people that used to know how to get them said, actually, they've lost their people too because they no longer make them. So I reached out to a friend of mine, and I knew she didn't make them herself, but I said, hey, do you know somebody who does? And she made some phone calls. We got somebody lined up. Her parents were helping her out, connect her to somebody else. And they... My watch is telling me to settle down or to relax. But anyhow, we waited a few months. And then when we really thought things were going to fall through with Rain, I said, you know what? I haven't heard from her. I'm not going to stress it right now. If the gal's already making them, I'll go ahead and buy them still. Well, then everything came around full circle. I reached back out to my friend and said, hey, whatever happened with that? Just wondering if the gal ever made them. And she's like, oh, kind of forgot about that. And it turns out that maybe something got dropped somewhere. I don't know exactly what spot, but either way, they were not made. They were not being made. And somehow everybody was not sure how, I think it was that they weren't sure how to get a hold of her at that point. Her parents had moved to a different part of the state, so they weren't near that, the other gal anymore. So I was like, okay, shoot. Well, do you know anybody else? She started making calls. I started making additional calls. And Shawn and I had set a timeline and said, okay, if we don't have something by this date, then we'll switch gears and I'll try to make one. Talked to my friend, told her exactly that. She was waiting for a call back from somebody. I found amazing videos online. They are very long, very detailed. There is a gal here in South Dakota that had made them several years ago. And let me also be very clear, guys, that if you go on and watch videos on how to make a star quilt, do know that there are many, as simple as it seems that they should all be the same, many people do them differently. There is actually a company out of Arizona. The guy claims to be from both South Dakota and Montana, I believe. And they cut every diamond out individually. He's done videos on how they do them. And I thought, whoa, okay, I'm not going to go there because that was way too much. Whereas the gal I followed does them in strips and then you sew them staggered and then cut them at angles and it creates the diamonds. So what this all comes down to is I didn't manage to get somebody else to make it. I went ahead and I bought the fabric, and like the next week, a few days later, my friend called. She was like, I got somebody lined up. She's going to make it for you if you want. It's like, I just spent like $150, $200 on fabric. And that didn't make much sense to pay even more to have other ones made when I just bought everything to make it. Now, I'm also going to back up and say I used to sew a lot. The only thing though is I never quilt. Never have. Don't have the patience for it, which is also going to be the next part of the story. So all of this took place back in like September. I wanted to have it done by her adoption was actually supposed to take place in October, but there was some snafus that happened on the legal side of things. Just basically paperwork didn't get filed in the right places in time. And it turns out that the court that we had to go to, the current sitting judge only does adoptions one day every month. And it's not even all day. It's like 8 a.m. to noon. And I want to say there's 8 or 9 time slots is what the lawyer told me. So 8 or 9 adoptions a month, one day. And we had to travel across the state. Anyhow, we didn't get into October or November. That's why the adoption took place in December. Anyhow, was shooting for October, knew that was going to be a long shot. So, and it was. I had the star portion about half completed. Wasn't to the point of fully assembling it or anything just yet. And then as we got to the date in December, I should have been able to have it done. I had the star almost done. Because, guys, my sewing area down here is in the basement. And truth be told, I don't come down here that often. I'm down here daily, but I don't spend time downstairs very often right now. I've been coming down more recently to try and clean and purge some stuff because we've got a number of boxes that have just sat here since we moved in. Again, I just don't come down here that often. So it's easy for me to forget what needs to be done. Anyhow, the December date came and I was really pushing, trying to get it done. I did get the star done in time, but not the rest of the quilt. And I thought, okay, not going to have it for the adoption. Maybe I'll try for Christmas, even though they were like a week apart. But then I told myself realistically, if I just shoot to have it done by her birthday at the end of January. And that'll be part of her birthday gift. Guys, it's February. It's not done. Yeah. But I'm going to show you guys what I have done for the star. And after I do this video, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to work on the fill-in spots between the points of the star, which I'll explain to you guys here in a minute. I got to grab the other fabric so I can show you what I'm doing with it too. And then after I have that, then I put the batting in, the backing, I do all the quilting, which I do a different version because I hate quilting and I don't own a long arm quilter. And then I am going to do the binding or the edging. So there is that. Let me grab the other fabric and show you guys the star. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to truly see this, but this is what I have done. Now, in between here where you can see my face, that's where the filler fabric is going to go. This is said fabric. It's very busy. It's very colorful. All of this was picked based on Rain's preferences and wants. So, and I know it doesn't look like it matches, coordinates, or anything like that, but when you lay it all together, it actually looks very pretty together. I cannot wait to see it. The backing for it is going to be very similar to this purple. I got the right fabric that goes better for the backing of a quilt so that way you're not piecing it together. It's more solid, although I don't exactly remember what the width on that bolt was at the moment to know if I'm still going to have to put 2 pieces together or not, because this star has been an interesting project because, let me move move closer to you guys here. I like to joke that I have crafting ADD. I like to learn things, but then as I'm doing things, my brain starts running wild with what else I can do at the same time, as well as can I do to make this my own. And I have a very hard time just following directions. Now, obviously, I'm well aware that there are times that is super crucial. This is one of those times where my brain knew. It's okay. But is it? Is it really? And guys, if you've never noticed, I do the exact same thing when I'm cooking, which it's been a long time since I've done a cooking video, which I'm going to do again soon too, for recipes, because I find recipes somewhere else and then I tweak them so that they are better fitting for our family. And I do that a lot. But what happened with this, the gal who did the videos, she had 6 colors of fabric. You can probably hear my husband sneezing upstairs. Anyhow, she had 6 colors of fabric to make the diamonds with. I knew she had that. And my brain said, because then what she did is the colors repeated themselves, which mine eventually did as you get towards the bottom of each diamond, because the purple, the butterflies, and the black all repeat, because those are back up here at the center too. I'm going to end up with little strings all over my shirt now. Anyhow, I wasn't worried about the repeating pattern. Sometimes it can make the star look very cool because it gives that star burst effect. But I was going for something slightly different because I wanted it to be more fitting to Rain's personality. And I wanted to encompass all of the colors and imagery that her and I had discussed, because I didn't tell her why I was asking, but we were discussing different colors and things for things like this. One thing I came to learn really quickly is that this gal, when she made the videos, she didn't clarify a couple of very key points. She must have a standard of 6 colors that she uses. She puts 6 diamonds in each row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Each of this is a row. It's sewn as strips and then you cut it. It's the pattern she uses that works for her. Also the size of the diamonds. Now these are very standard size. I think they're like 3-inch. And she didn't say what the final dimensions are or will be. She didn't say that you can do fewer diamonds if you choose to. I was just following everything she did for gospel. Now I do like the way she does it. I did get a little creative on a couple things because she was very meticulous with lining things up. That's partially why I hate quilting. I have seen a number of star quilts over the years where things were not perfectly lined up. At the time I couldn't figure out why. Now that I'm making one, I was like, you know what, I'm just following that trend. It doesn't have to perfectly line up. Because the why is, it's a pain in the butt. I don't have that kind of time. But I didn't know how big this star would be. It's huge. I still have to put that fabric in between all of the points. And then that's going to make it square. I'm going to have to put a strip at the top and the bottom each to elongate it. This is easily going to be a queen size blanket by the time I'm done. I was ordering her a twin size. So there's that. One thing that that little crafting quirk of mine also caused is when buying the fabric, I didn't get 6 colors plus the larger for the in-between. I, on the other hand, I just counted them really quick while you guys blinked. I got 8. Doesn't sound like that big of a deal. I knew it would just make my pattern repeat a little bit less. Didn't do the math and think about the fact that I was going to need less fabric then. I actually have enough strips left over to make a second smaller blanket. Might make her a doll blanket or a pillow sham to go with it. Haven't fully decided. But guys, it's turning into this thing because I overthink it, I overdo it, I get overwhelmed, and then I go do something else and get distracted. But she did come down. I showed it to her. I showed her what the other fabrics are. I have, now that she's seen it, and I have made the promise it will be done soon. That is exactly what's going to happen. Now I do need to take this trip that is coming up. So I'm going to be out of town for several days. Obviously I can't work on it during that time. But it will be worked on more diligently very soon. I'm going to show you guys the finished product. I will probably have her help me show it to you guys as well when I give it to her. Yeah, can't wait to share that. Guys, there's been so much going on that I've been doing and working on and everything else. And I also now see the warning that my battery's getting low, and for some reason that has been an ongoing theme with batteries dying on me. So I'm going to take that as my warning and tell you guys that I can't wait to show you this when it's done. I'm excited to share it with you now. It's going to be awesome. In the meantime, I really hope that you guys are having a blessed day. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss everything else coming up next. And I'll see you in the next one.